Hey everyone, welcome to B Chat. I'm B. This is the first episode that I'm recording, and so there's not really a whole lot of planning or an agenda. The main thing I wanted to do was just kind of get this started. Basically, one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a podcast or some form of content and put it out there on the internet is that over the last 2 years in my life, just a lot of people that I know that I interact with, they all just tell me I should do it. They're very it's the kind of thing where when people are just telling you something and it's like, oh, they're being nice or they're just trying to fluff you up or whatever. But there's been a couple of people actually that I just know they wouldn't just say it as just kind of like a casual comment, and it's kind of been bugging me. And podcasts and just that kind of free flow form of content that can reach so many people, and it's helped me and it's helped so many other people. I've always felt a very strong, how do you say it? I just felt really strongly that I should do this. And then once more and more people started telling me, all types of people, old, young, from different backgrounds, they're like, man, B, you should totally, you should have a podcast, or you should do something, quote unquote. So that's what this is. Yeah. So basically, I really don't know what the podcast doesn't really have too much of a theme or a direction at this point, but it's definitely going to be a lot of content that is driven from things that have helped me a lot in my life. Just personal insights. I feel like a lot of times when people try to talk about things, regardless of the topic or the seriousness of it, it's either super professional, it's like some professor or something that's talking about motivation or how to accomplish your goals or whatever, or it's just super low end and emotional and almost like a motivational speaker who just I don't know. I just feel like I've gotten a lot of feedback that there's I don't know. I have a way to kind of bring in the language, and I kind of speak the language of both sides. And I don't know. I feel like I do a good job of talking about things from a really good rational perspective, with some educational background, but really just talking like normal and bringing it down to the language of just of all of us, of just regular people, and helping it apply to all of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is my hopes for this podcast is to make it something that can help people, something that people like, something that people listen to every day. I kind of visualize that. But like I said, for this first episode, and who knows, maybe the next few, I really don't know what direction. The main thing is I wanted to get started because I could feel myself just hesitating and kind of being a pussy and not wanting to just actually do it. So I just got out my iPhone and I'm like, you know what? Let's record episode 1. It's a Friday evening. I have no excuse, no work tomorrow. So just kind of starting. But yeah, like I said, my name's B. I'm 30 years old. Been through a good amount of stuff in my life, had a lot of different experiences, a lot of different jobs, and I don't know, I guess from the people that I hang out with, and just from my own personal opinion, I don't know, I think a podcast is a really good medium for me to just kind of share my experiences, because I feel like they would help a lot of people, which sounds super cocky, I know, but it's feels gross saying that, but I don't know, it's truly genuinely out of love, and I want this to be something that just people actually like, and something that helps people. So hopefully it turns into that at some point. But yeah, like I said, for now, if you're listening, you're probably just literally looking for something new to listen to, or if this was in the future and the podcast takes off, you're probably just circling back to see how it started and stuff. This podcast probably won't make any sense if there is some structure to this later on down the line, but that's kind of how I want it to be. I don't want to plan things out for this. I want it to be natural. I kind of always had this philosophy or kind of way of thinking that I think a lot of people have like a real guilt for getting paid to do something that you just innately kind of do naturally. So for me, I always felt like it was really easy to talk. I like talking. I like expressing myself like that way verbally. I like talking things out. So, I mean, when people started doing podcasts and at my work, I work for a couple speakers who fly around the country. They get paid to speak. So my brain started clicking, and I'm like, man, like you can really like get paid to just speak. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like that was kind of the seeds of it opening my mind. But it's like that the concept is like every single person out there, all of you probably, the thing that you're probably the best at, the thing that probably you're supposed to do, you probably have the most guilt about getting paid to do it naturally. It's normal. But kind of like if I came up to you and said, hey, like imagine if you wake up in the morning and you're sitting at your kitchen table and you're eating breakfast, just eating breakfast, like whatever, like you always do before school or work. And I come up to you, I knock on your door. You're like, oh, snap, who's that? Oh, it's B. And I give you, hey, here's $25. Good job eating breakfast. Like, how would that make you feel? You know, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, there's a catch, right? There's something fishy here. What's the catch? Why are you giving me money for eating breakfast? That's nothing. That's kind of the concept I think a lot of people struggle with when it comes to career or pursuing whatever you want to do as a project or a hobby. Like, what you're probably naturally good at, people probably have told you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your peers, whatever. But there's just this thing where you're like, ooh, like, I don't want to, like, what? Like, you know, like there's some block that we have where it's like, it's weird. But yeah, so that's kind of like some of the feelings I had about starting this. So it's really important for this first episode, just for me to kind of get it up and get the ball rolling. So yeah, I guess with that being said, I don't have really too much else to say for this first one, but just kind of introducing myself, wanted to say hi, and I'm going to try to get a bunch of episodes going and just kind of see what this turns into. And if it's something that people find useful, I mean, I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully there's, you know, some type of theme or something that develops and some type of audience or something that is drawn to it. But really, I think one of the cool things about what I like to talk about is I think it could really apply to anyone. I really just like people. I like talking about people, what makes us click, what makes us trigger, what makes us happy, how to go about managing those things, just all that kind of stuff, because I grew up in a kind of an environment where none of that was really explained to me. And the older and older I got, I realized, like, holy shit, like a lot of people didn't have any of that stuff explained to them, like white, black, Asian, like all of my friends growing up. I'm like, whoa, like we're all kind of a little bit anxious, and we're all a little bit like probably not doing the thing we're supposed to do in our lives, but it's okay because it pays the bill, whatever the case may be. I'm kind of just generalizing or simplifying, but the point is that I thought that it was kind of just me, and as the older and older I got, I'm like, oh shit, like it's literally like most people, if not everyone, including parents. Like that's actually one of the biggest realizations is when you kind of get mature and you grow up, you're like, oh fuck, like my parents did not know what the fuck they were doing, you know, like, but you know, that's kind of some stuff I want to get into in like other, you know, later episodes in more depth and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something that's, you know, a big thing for me too, is just kind of how people are, why they are like that. And not just like from a philosophical or scholarly perspective for the sake of discussion and debate. I'm more interested in just practical. Like if I want to be like, I don't know, a lawyer, and I'm struggling to be a lawyer, like why is that happening? Like why can't I do that? Like why can't I be successful at that? And kind of break it down from there. Because I think generally most people know why, and it's more of like the fear of like facing it, admitting it, and all that jazz. But yeah, and those are the kind of things that I think this podcast will be most about. Won't be too like scientific or anything, because like I said, it's going to be super casual. It'll be, you know, me talking mostly from my experiences, and which are pretty basic. But it's like the more and more I talk to people in person and in real life, the more and more they tell me like, man, you should get this online, or get on a podcast, or write a book, or whatever. Not write a book, but you know what I mean. Like, so basically that's what this is. I'm calling it the B Chat because I just think that sounds cool. B Chat podcast. So yeah, I hope you guys keep listening. I hope you follow along. And yeah, just kind of wanted to say hi.